how Mike Woodson has transformed himself into the portal king.
1 for 3 on the way.
Hello, guys. Thank you for joining me on Indiana Sports Connection. I am your residential anchor, Aaron. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being part of this Indiana Hoosiers and Colts community on here. So we have a lot to talk about today, because what Mike Woodson has done in the transfer portal and now how he's been recruiting more guys, this is exactly what we've been singing. This is exactly what I've been saying. This is what I've been wanting, stuff like this the whole time. Now, you know, he did take a private jet to these places, but nonetheless, he's recruiting. He's bringing in people. It's time to give Mike Woodson his due. And, you know, I have been super critical of the coach all along. I've been super critical of everything he's done through the back half of last season. And I just want to take time today to say I had the right to be critical then. And now I can see the work is being done, the work in the recruiting and the work in the transfer portal. My hat goes off to you, Mike Woodson. You have been doing it. You know, instead of selling Fire Mike Woodson shirts, might be selling shirts that, you know, Mike Woodson is the mother effing boss, you know. I definitely could be doing that. We still have a lot of work to do. In a short amount of time, in about a month's time, he's turned around what could have been really bad situation where a lot of people left and we looked like the cupboard was bare. And that's what a lot of people were thinking, even myself at times, to having the number one recruiting class, the number one transfer portal class is really looking up. But we have all that to talk about and more on this episode of Indiana Sports Connection. But if this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button down below. I have a bunch of giveaways coming up. At 900 subscribers, I will be giving away home field apparel. And at 1,000 subscribers, I will be giving away a piece of memorabilia. I'm still taking comments. I'm still taking things on what that piece of memorabilia is going to be. But it's going to be something super cool I'm going to give to somebody at 1,000 subscribers, because all of this would not be possible with you out there, you, the Indiana Hoosier fan who have liked, subscribed, hit that thumbs up button, because you know what? Why not? It's free. If you hit that thumbs up button, it gets the video out to more people. That's what people don't realize about YouTube. I'm just a guy sitting in my bedroom talking about the Indiana Hoosiers. So I can't thank you enough for subscribing and passing this along to so many people. It is like really a dream of mine, and I love hearing all your comments. So comment down below. Tell me what you think about, am I being too positive in this episode? I know a lot of people have logged onto this channel in the past because they want to see me rant about Mike Woodson. Today, it is going to be a little bit more of a positive episode. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the draft tonight. Chris Ballard, don't trade back. Colts need a high-level talent. So we'll talk a little bit about that at the end of the episode. Now that we got all that out of the way, you subscribe to the channel, you hit that thumbs up button, you hit that bell notification. Let's get into talking about the Indiana Hoosiers. All right, so Mike Woodson, he was on a recruiting trip yesterday. So let's put up a couple of pictures of some of the. So he visited Trent Sicily, Jalen Harrelson, and Braylon Mullins yesterday. Got out on the recruiting trail. He was not, and I don't want to make this not positive, but he wasn't at their sectional games. And I know Matt Painter and a couple other coaches were there. Huge for Mike Woodson. He's got to get out there and he's got to recruit guys. You got to have some recruits coming in along with the transfer portal. You can't rebuild a team this way every single year. And we still have a lot of work to do in the transfer portal to get some bench guys. Luke Goode visiting later on today. That is going to be a guy we're going to be looking for. Tons of people, they're going nuts about Luke Goode and they want him to come. Here's what I think the bottom line with Luke Goode is, why he will change our team, is because Mike Woodson will have a player who is a proven shooter. I don't think Miller Kopp was that coming in. I think Luke Goode is a little bit better than Miller Kopp was maybe at Northwestern, just as far as like a pure outside shooter. So when you bring in a player like that, what other choice do you have except for to get this guy shots? And I think bringing in him will also get other guys shots and it'll make the offense flow better, especially when we go to a second unit or we have that unit in the game where maybe Malik Renew plays the 5, Luke Goode plays the 4, and Baco and Goode play the 3 and the 4, and we have more of like Renew, Goode, and like a 3-guard lineup on the floor. Those are teams that are going to really, really be able to stretch the defense. And that's what we want to see for Indiana next year. Last year, we couldn't stretch anything. We weren't stretching. I mean, what we were doing, we were stretching at the Golden Corral after the game. You know, we were stretching out our belly. Luke Goode, a lot of big hype around him, even though he was a bench player at Illinois. I mean, I think Kent Sterling was saying it best, like, this guy, he is a proven, guy, but he was a bench guy at Illinois, and he'd probably be a bench guy at Indiana as well. I mean, look how far we've come in a month. Like Mike Woodson, I mean, a month ago, I was making videos like this. Funny to be out there, to miss free throws, then you know what? It comes with the territory. Also, you know what I think? I think that if you're making money playing at Indiana University, and that money all came out of our pockets or from boosters' pockets, you should be able to be fine. And I don't really like to be like that. I mean, not all the time. I mean, I am a fiery guy. I am a passionate person. And also I have really high expectations for myself, for all the people around me, and for everybody. So yeah, do I get mad, upset, like about what's going on with the program when it's going like really, really bad? Yeah, I do, because you know what? That's part of being a fan. But I also like it, love it. I want to see more of it when we see him going on recruiting trips like we saw yesterday, when we see him bringing in Kanan Carlisle, Miles Rice, Umar Ballo, the #1 recruiting class. I keep saying recruiting, but portal class this year. So Indiana, they have really everything they could have done since the season ended. Really, they have done, and they've checked all those boxes, bringing in great guard play, bringing in dynamic guards. I made a video about the three-point shooting, a couple of days ago, and I can definitely see where having these more dynamic guards, because we were like station to station with Gabe Cupps last year. He's another player. His level should improve, and having just some more dynamic guards is going to get people more wide open shots. I think that's going to help Mbako and Renew. I think it's going to help everybody, just having guards that can really like fly off the dribble. And we just did not have that last year. I really could see guys struggling when guys were guarding them like straight up, like Cups on the outside at different times. Is like we just could not get into our offense fast enough. You cannot walk the ball up the floor. You can't do these things and be successful in the college game. So a lot to be really positive about right now. And the work has still yet to be done. I mean, I don't know. And also the people the assistant coaches. I mean, I really ripped on some of the assistant coaches, and I will say this. One guy I really ripped on, Rashi, who is from the Atlanta area, about being, an NBA guy that coached as an assistant under Avery Johnson. He was instrumental in bringing in these guys from Atlanta area, and also they might have some continuity. That's what I would like to really hear about next. Like, are these guys getting together in the summertime? Can they get together in a gym in Atlanta? Can they get together in Bloomington? Can they get together and do some open gym together? I don't want to hear the same excuses next year. Well, these guys have never played together, because look, I mean, although Carlisle and Rice, they might have play at Indiana for multiple years, Ballo's only going to be there for 1 year. Renew, he's in his junior year. As far as it goes in the transfer portal, that's how it's going to be every year. So you got to figure out a way to either get into the open gym or get somewhere where these guys can at least play together a little bit, and you can kind of see how they're going to interact with each other. I know, like, they're all from the same area. They also all played in the Pac-12. I mean, and Bryson Tucker, too. I don't want to forget about Bryson Tucker. I don't want to forget about Ja'Kai Newton also, because, like, Bryson Tucker needs to get into the mix, and Ja'Kai Newton has to get into the mix as well, because all these guys coming together, we got, like, some real question marks with Ja'Kai Newton. I really want to see all of this come together in this next year so that we can win the Big Ten. We can at least make it to the Sweet 16 or Elite 8, and that would really satisfy, I believe, the Hoosier base if we at least got into the Sweet 16. It's all about perception, right? I mean, like, the more I think about it, the more I think about Indiana and their teams and like everything that they've done. It's like you want them to be talking about your team during the tournament. You want them to be talking about your team, about winning the Big Ten during the season. And we've just not had that in a long, long time. I mean, we came in second to Purdue, 2 years ago when we had TJD, and that seemed like a high watermark really for that team that had been developing for about 3 or 4 years under Archie Miller and then Mike Woodson. We have a lot to be excited about right now. And I heard this on another podcast, on Sleeper's podcast, but I mean, was Mike Woodson just going home, staying up late, just watching Pac-12 games, smoking his cigars, just like, oh yeah, right there. We can see it right there. We got Rice. I mean, all the players from Arizona, Ballo, Rice, Carlisle, all from the Pac-12. Was Mike Woodson staying up watching basketball at 10 o'clock at night, watching these games that nobody else in the country really watches? Well, somebody does. I mean, somebody out west has to like these teams, and watch them somewhat, but they probably watched as much as Ball State is. Like, realistically, people out west don't love basketball in the same way that me and you do right here in the Midwest. I really do have to hand it to Mike Woodson. He has put together a great plan for this team going forward. Now he's just got to coach these guys up and get them to a level where we're going to be that top team next year. Because I could see this team being ranked to start the season with everybody they have coming in. And, the expectations are always going to be high. And you always want high expectations anyway, because isn't that what everybody wants? Would you want your parents to be like, you know what? We thought you were so stupid as a kid that, we just bought a house for you because, we knew you'd never be able to figure it out for yourself. No, nobody wants that. Nobody wants to be treated that way. Everybody wants to think that, like, you can achieve, you can do it, you can reach that next level. Nobody wants to be treated like a person that everybody has low expectations for. So having high expectations for Mike Woodson, for Indiana basketball, for everything, it's just all part of the deal. It's all part of the deal. I mean, because we're all IU fans. We all love the team, and we want to see this go really well. I just had to take this time to kind of like, I guess, retract my things. And you know what? Somebody sent me a message one time, and it said, like, you're going to eat your words. When Mike Woodson gets a bunch of good players, you're going to eat your words. And I will eat my words only because I'm hungry all the time. I'm not eating my words because I want the team to be good. If the team gets good, then I'm not eating my words. It's just like what's happening is what I want to happen. And even if your team is really, really good, you still have to like tweak and twerk and like think about like, yeah, the coaching on the floor and the everything, like how you're going to like deal with certain situations. What if they double team this guy? What if they do this? Yeah, even if you're really good, you're never good enough to not be questioned ever. I mean, that's just like the bottom line really of the entire world. But to that person that said I was going to eat my words, now I am going to eat a few, okay? And this is more painful than it looks. Ow. 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 All right, that's enough words for now. Something I saw on Twitter, Kansas, I mean, they put our Mr. Basketball and they put Mr. Basketball behind him like, we stole your Mr. Basketball. I forget this guy's name, but yeah, Mr. Basketball Indiana this year going to Kansas, and they put that on Twitter. Here it is, and I just thought appalling. I mean, you know what? We in Indiana, we are the true blue blood because you know why? We don't know who your Mr. Basketball is, for God's sake. Because you know why? Because you're in Kansas, the most boring place in the entire world. I'm going to tell you, I've driven through Kansas going to Colorado a few times, and whoo, man, that's a long drive. That's like 6-7 hours of nothing. Tumbleweeds flying by, nothing on the radio, no gas stations, 80 miles in between exits. Oh my God. And then we got the NFL draft tonight. Chris Ballard, you cannot trade back. This is like paramount. Ballard, can't trade back. Trade up, go in front of the Jets. Many people think that the Jets are going to take Brock Bowers. And I've heard people saying maybe the Colts are going to move up. But if it gets to the 15th pick and Ballard goes back and we are not picking in the first round, it's going to be another mediocre year for the Colts. We need some playmakers on the outside. We need guys who can just run amok. And you know what? Neighbors is that guy. Bowers is that guy. We need that guy to come to Indianapolis so that we can really give Anthony Richardson a fair shake in this second year so we can evaluate him in the right kind of way. Hopefully he can stay healthy all year and the Colts can make the playoffs for the first time in a long time, and Chris Ballard can keep his job and everybody will be happy. So, but that in Detroit tonight, looking fantastic out there. I want to share some personal news. You know, I used to work at Mattress Warehouse. I left there on March 1st. I just got a new job today, so I am super stoked about it. I will be working at Preferred Auto on Illinois Road starting, and it took me a while to just find the right sales job. I turned down a lot of different opportunities, but I will be working at Preferred Auto on Illinois Road in Fort Wayne from now on. And I think it's just going to be a really great match. Being in there with those guys, got such a great feeling from the interview, talking to them. So I'm really excited about that. On to a new venture. You know, I kind of like started in the mattresses during the pandemic, and I'm just ready to move into something else in sales because that was never like my number one choice to be in the mattresses. But just a little bit of personal news for myself, and have a lot of great things happening with Indiana basketball right now. Luke Goode, hopefully we get the official that he's going to commit to the Hoosiers. That would really, really help our bench, especially if we got Galloway and Luke Goode coming off the bench. That's really going to shore up like a second team that we're going to have that plays against our first team as well. Iron sharpens iron. But thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Indiana Sports Connection. Until next time, stay classy out there, Hoosier fans and Colts fans. Are we going to do what they say can be done? These days, I think cybersecurity is now as important as physical security. That's why when I'm online, I use NordVPN. NordVPN uses next generation encryption to keep my passwords and data safe, which is especially important when I'm traveling and I'm on public Wi-Fi, which is more vulnerable to hacking. I'm sure a lot of you are going to be traveling for the holidays this summer. Use NordVPN, one account that will protect all your devices and computers. And with their 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to lose.